Thompson's there, Billy in. A goal, Chris Billy, Huddersfield Town. The most famous goal of Chris Billy's life.
Is this the moment for Lee Fowler? It is. Take your place in Division 2, Huddersfield Town.
Thank you.
And Steve Simonson's boots now. He's missed. Steve Simonson clears the frame of the goal and collapses in a heap of tears. Huddersfield Town are promoted. Skipper Schindler has a chance to write his name in Huddersfield Town legend. And he takes that chance!
Hello and welcome to episode 198 of the Andy Takes That Chance podcast. 3 wins in a row, Town owner Kevin Nagle requested, and Town faltered at the first hurdle with a draw at Ewood Park. There's new signings in the building as Kevin Nagle continues to follow up on his promise, but the same old story with Town failing to get a win and fan pressure piling on top of Town boss Darren Moore, who now sits with 3 wins in 22 games. We'll look back over the game at Ewood Park and the latest in the series of the ApothKevry Diaries. And joining me today to talk about the last week in Town, the bells toll for Kosi Modo back on the pod. How are we doing, Kosi?
Yeah, long time no speak. Good to see we've not moved anywhere from our 21st position.
Standard. I'd happily take that in May as well. And joining us as well, back once again like a renegade master, we got Josh Phillips. How are we doing, Josh?
Yeah, not too bad, thank you.
A late substitution, aren't you, Josh? Which is very much appreciated. Thank you very much. Right, as always, this episode is sponsored by Magic Rock Brewing. So you can get 10% off all of your online orders using our code of AHTTC10, and also get down on match day as well to the tap house at Birkby. It's a grand old place to enjoy your pre-match tipple. So thanks to Magic Rock for always sponsoring this podcast. Right, boys, let's get into it. Blackburn 1, Town 1. Town's lineup a little bit more attacking on paper than it has been. A little bit, not completely. New signing Reece Healey started up front. We had a bloody striker playing, unbelievable. Brody Spencer moved to right centre back, which I quite liked, to wrap around for Sorba Thomas, who was at right wing back. And when you look at the heat map, Sorba was more advanced than Ben Jackson on the other side, and more advanced than Hogg and Matos as well for his average position throughout the game. In terms of the setup, it promised a little more than usual. And then within minutes, the most experienced player falls into a trap that he's fallen into numerous times since David Wagner converted him to a 6 back in 2016 and got caught out facing his own goal. It's just quite typical, Kosi, wasn't it? You were there at the ground and, there was a little bit of expectancy. We had a striker on the pitch, which is a miracle. And then within minutes, we went there expecting, you never expect, but you hope for a win. And then within minutes, typically the most experienced player makes an error and Blackburn are in front.
Oh, man, it just sums up not just this season, but last season as well, because obviously we go to a place, any pre-match pod I did with any of the Blackburn people, they're absolutely on their knees, mate. I think they lost 7 out of 9, the injury-ridden. Half of the people I was speaking to in the pub before the game, thanks to Dan for a Rovers chat, by the way, for a great local. It's his local he throws darts in. Cracking pub. But, they're in there. They didn't want to walk down the hill. We've all been there, haven't we, in the town centre of Huddersfield, like 2:30, and some people have been the game off. But these guys did not want to come to the game. And obviously the weather was absolutely freezing. So, all we need to do is stay strong, let them get the crowd on the back. And, Mr. Mural does that. I mean, I could not believe it. Well, you can believe it, can't you? Because this is Huddersfield Town. We just love giving a leg up. I was just kind of thinking, like, last night, just something. We do everything we can to give the opposition a lift. It's so frustrating. And obviously, it seems like, Moore wanted us to pass forward a bit more and stuff like that as well. And I think on another day, like, to quote the great Mr. Fotheringham, I don't think he'd have kind of made that pass, but it's looking to try to kind of feed the guy in front. And, absolute nightmare. I mean, just like a balloon would pop and sink it in. Horrible start. Again, bizarre celebration. I get maybe a professional footballer, they just love to shush anyone, but Yeah, I think there were over 2,000 Town fans just looking at each other thinking, here we go again. But absolute nightmare, and Nichols really had no chance to do with that.
No, I mean, Josh, it's Hoggy's biggest weakness. I mean, we all love Hoggy, don't we? We're all Jonathan Hogg fans over the last 10 years. But, you know, you go back to 2016 and that Fulham game where he did that 2 or 3 times, you know, in the Fulham game in 2016. I think people might remember that. And then you think back to him getting sent off against Watford in the Premier League because he doesn't see Dukari coming behind him and kicks him, and Swansea the other week. It's sort of just a weakness of his. And Carlos Corberán noted that, and that's why he moved him to centre-back so he could play looking forward rather than looking back to his own goal. But, I mean, he's got enough credit in the bank, hasn't he, to sort of ride that one out and push on. But it's not the greatest start, but Town responded fairly well, I think, in terms of going 1-0 down. I think a lot of Huddersfield Town teams would have rolled over, even considering how poor Blackburn were. But, you know, we didn't. Like Kosi says, Blackburn lost 7 of the last 9, and you kind of expected Town to come out guns blazing, really, but they didn't really get a chance because of the goal. The comments from Kevin Nagle the week before, but we did get back into the game, didn't we? Sorba Thomas, it was an old sort of set piece routine from yesteryear, wasn't it? From the old 21-22 season, you know, whip it into that sort of front post area. And the marking on Mikel Helik, I mean, I'm not going to listen to Rovers chat because we won't get the time, but I'm sure they'll be going on about the marking on Mikel Helik because he just literally walks away from the guy. But it's a lovely header. He plants it into the top corner, and despite the diabolical defending from Blackburn, it's just great from our point of view. It's the Sorba Thomas routine. He's got another assist, and Helik bangs it in for his 8th goal of the season, and parity's restored there, mate. It's a great header, isn't it?
Yeah, it's perfect corner goal, really, isn't it? A great delivery. And then Helik, I think I said to you, he looked like a giant. I think the big man for Blackburn didn't get anywhere near him. So, yeah, did a great job steering into the far corner. We had a bit of pressure, I think, if memory serves, like just before the goal, and then for a bit just after. And then we got another corner, didn't we, on the other side? And we decided to play it short for some reason. I know it's different because it's not an in-swinger like it was on the other side, but I think stuff like that tends to lose our momentum. And then we went back to being a bit passive again for the rest of that half. And then rest of the game, we had our moments. You know, we had that big chance first half, which I'm sure we'll come on to, and another one second half. So really, on the balance of play, if you think about it, if we took our chances and didn't gift them a goal, we should have won. But it didn't always feel like that during the game, to be honest.
Kosi, Mikel Helik, 8 goals this season.
Brilliant, mate.
8 goals. He is the highest scoring defender for Huddersfield Town now for 40 years. And we've got 19 games left. Can you remember, you're the oldest on the pod, can you remember the last time somebody got as many goals for Huddersfield Town?
Give me kind of the
Buxton era.
Dave Sutton, maybe?
No, Paul Jones got 9
right
in the 1983-84 season. Yeah. I think quite a few were from penalties. The most ever by a Town defender was actually the season before in 1982-83 was by Mally Brown. Mally Brown got 11 that season from right back. Yeah, Mikel Helik is on 8 goals, so he's joint third. Yeah, joint third. It's incredible. And Ken Taylor got 8 in 1956-57. So Mikel Helik just needs 3 more goals, which is a lot from centre back, but he needs 3 more goals to be the leading scorer of all time for a defender for Huddersfield.
Which way do I take it here, Matt? Do I go down the positive route of 8 goals from a centre back, or do I go down the embarrassment that nearly in February? And well,
let's go positive because you know it's about Mikel Helik, isn't it? Yeah. And he's not only is he incredible at the back in our own penalty box, he's incredible in the other one as well. No. He's a fantastic player, isn't he? He's always up at the top with the metrics as well, with clearances and tackles. He's just a real.
Yeah, I think some of his goals. I mean, like the goal against Coventry, the goal against Borough, like good with his feet, mate. So they're not all headers. Had a great, great view on the other end. But as soon as you headed it, Matt, you knew it were in. It were those good moments, you know, when you're in a away end and you head it. Time stood still. Everyone just looks, and I thought it's going to nestle in the back of the net here, and it does as well. But yeah, really good. I know we've discussed this before with age and speed and stuff like that as well, but I don't think he'll be on a time next season, whether it's there or not. I hope he is, but I do think he'll get the people will come and see his goals, see how well he defends, and probably get to move to a better club. But the here and now is big. If it matters, I mean, we've lost a few players to injuries, but I just think he's one that if he ever needs, pulls up, or he's out of the running, or some games and stuff, we'd miss him most of that as well. Great signing, mate. I know we've said it before, but Barnsley fans told us, often they tell us some stuff, Barnsley fans, and he's no Eddie Moses, that's for sure. But he, brilliant, mate, and back in there. But you know what, mate, after that, it's honestly just like the echoes of Plymouth game. It was so frustrating because you're thinking, right, we've made this shocking start, just like we did the week before with Morgan Whitaker. Just when you're thinking, come on, let's have a foothold in the game, just stay strong, and then play our football. We go behind, we equalise, and you're thinking, let's do it. And we just miss his lines, Matt, in massive moments. It just, you know what, when let's hope we obviously stay up, but this is, I mean, the Radoni thing, we might not come on to now, but it's just like, to me, these are the moments that, well, you fly or die, mate, in the division. And I'm so frustrated, Matt, because to me it feels like his finish has gone full circle. I know he had that little, say, burst, a couple of goals, but it feels like to me we've got the Radoni finishing back pre-Warnock now, mate, and it's worrying. I think that's going to do a lot of damage to his confidence, really, because, I mean, I've not seen a replay back of it. I just saw it raw on the day, but it looked an horrendous miss. Is there any case for the defence, Matt? Obviously, you saw it on the
Not really.
No.
I mean, if the keeper saves it, you probably say it's a good save, but no, he should score. It's on his favourite left foot. He's free in the box. It's a lack of confidence, isn't it? He tries to open his foot to put it in the corner, but to be honest, he probably shouldn't even go for that corner in the first place because the keeper's more or less got it covered, and there's a big gap the other side. I like Jack Radoni a lot, but I think he's been off it a little bit last couple of games.
Don't know about you, but I thought at the time I was screaming for Koroma to go himself, and then he has turned out to be, he's made the right decision in the end, and he's just not finished it. But I thought maybe Koroma could have gone for himself.
I mean, Josh, we've said it all season, and Matt, but I'm sick of saying it, and I said it in Radio Leeds, as midfield, just not good enough. Not good enough. You've got to score, got to create. We've got no one who can do it on a regular basis, and it's absolutely killing us. It's a massive miss, that, mate.
Yeah, I mean, Jack Radoni, just looking at stats, and Jack Radoni is underperforming in his XG. He should be scoring more than he has this season. His XG indicates he should be scoring one every 4 games at 0.23-ish, 4-ish games, but he's running in at 0.15 at the minute. And he's not really assisting either in the final third at the minute. He's got 1 assist this 3 goals, 1 assist this season, and I do like him, but we've said it since day one. He needs to produce more in the final third. He has to produce more.
We've praised him to IL on here, Matt, many times. Mate.
So I have. We've criticised and praised, and we've done all sorts. We like him. We do like him, but we need more from him. And
a lot of things we're going to say tonight, mate. It's going to be exactly the same. It's time to deliver, not just for the club, for individual players. We've pussyfooted about. We've praised. We hoped. We've development. Blah blah blah. You've got to deliver in these massive moments of games, and we all know at the time. We all knew at the time. I know we had the second half to come, but we all looking at each other behind that goal, thinking that was absolutely massive. And yeah, gutting, mate, gutting.
Yeah, I mean, there's still a long way to go. I mean, he should score. He doesn't. He's not played badly, to be honest. He's just one of those things. He's a young player, probably lacking confidence in front of goal at the minute, but. We like I say, we like Radoni, we like him a lot, and we just probably expect, maybe we expect too much from him. But he's a player that I like a lot, and I rate highly. That's why when he doesn't score like that, you're a little bit disappointed. But I think there's certainly a lot more to come from Jack Radoni, without a doubt. And second half, I mean, when we equalised, you expected us to go on and win the game, or I thought we'd go on.
Just before the second half, the first half penalty, I messaged you at the time saying, I must admit, I thought it was no penalty, but then I've seen a replay of it and maybe, but
No, he's throwing himself. There's hardly any contact. He's throwing himself on the ground because he's not getting the ball.
The big guy Gallagher, innit? But he went down easy. But
first viewing, I thought it was a penalty. Then looking back, it's like it could go either way, really. So maybe got away with it.
Yeah. We Brody Spencer won it.
Yeah, I thought he made a lot of it, Gallagher.
I think
he wasn't going to get the ball.
No, he's been such a shining light, Brody Spencer, hasn't he? I think.
Yeah, we'll talk about Brody at the end, but I mean, you think at 1-1 with Blackburn the way they are, we'd at least, well, we hoped we'd win the game, and it just unfortunately wasn't to be. Those Radonis obviously had the chance in the first half, and then the second half, we bring on Bojan Radulovic, and he has a chance. I will talk about him as well, but he has a chance to make it 2-1, and the keeper comes out and closes the gap really well. Actually, it's a good save, and then there's another chance as well. Kasumu's played through really well, and he's through 1-on-1, and you can square that to Radulovic for a tap in, or you can take it on but you have to hit the target. If you've got someone in a good position, you have to hit the target, and he didn't. I mean, the Kasumu sub for me was frustrating in a way. I like Kasumu a lot, but the reason why I was a little bit frustrated is because I felt we needed more forward momentum. Again, it's my frustration with Darren Moore, really. Again, I felt we needed more forward thrust, and in that situation, do you not bring on a more attack-minded player like Ben Wiles to try and win the game rather than a natural, second ball winner in Kasumu? I know Ben Wiles hasn't set the world afire, but he is a naturally more attacking player than Kasumu. Again, there's no change to the shape from Moore to try and win the game, and you can argue we created chances to win the game, but I just felt like we didn't do enough, really. We didn't do enough from the sideline to try and push us on, really.
I'm going to have to defend Darren Moore there. Just on that point, I think Kasumu definitely... I would have brought Kasumu on instead of Wiles as well, because Wiles doesn't offer anything for me. Kasumu, yeah, he's more defensive-minded, but, at that stage of the game, fresh legs, in the attacking part of the pitch, he's going to win the ball back. And, yeah, I just think I would have brought Kasumu on. He wasn't amazing, and he messed up that chance, but on that one, I don't think that was a bad substitution for me.
I just want to wind it back a little bit, Matt, but still leaving the first half. The one thing that really got my goat, and this is where I'm losing a lot of kind of, goodwill towards Darren Moore and that as well. And again, he's the gaffer. It's his kind of, it's his trade set, and they do wrong. There were 2 minutes to go, that 5 minutes of added time, and we had the ball. Lee Nichols had the ball in his hand, and they were pissing about. And I'm thinking, come on, we need to win this game. News were getting around Rotherham beating Middles. Well, whatever. But it doesn't matter because we knew we needed to win that game. And he's like, calm it down. He pointed to the clock where we were. And that as well, as if to say, look, let's just kind of wind it down to half time. And Sobert Thomas came over who wanted a quick throw it out. And I think obviously seniority were like, no, he put his thumb up. And it really bored my piss did that. And I shouted at him. And a few others did in that as well. And I just think this is to me where it's really getting on my nerves, because if we've got like an attack-minded manager or a manager that's like really throwing the kitchen sink at, and again, we'll come to the second half, but I don't think we threw the kitchen sink at it really. But you're going to, as someone who's like play to win, will, get back to the dressing room and go nuts, with Nichols. But I get what he's saying. If we're like 13th or whatever and stuff, but we needed to win that game. That ball should have been straight back out on the pitch and get on with it. It's just an awful message it sends to me. Just like, yeah, let's just settle it down, in half time and that as well. And I'm sure Dan Moore, that's a good thing to do. That's bollocks, mate. We need to win the game. And this is the thing where, I've seen some of these obviously arguments come and go, and I've kind of kept out of it, about the negative setup, the approach and stuff. But that really did boil my piss. And it's just like, what's that saying? And later on in the game, you were mentioning it before we come on air, Josh, about, Ben Jackson with the throwing and that as well. I'm thinking, I just can't escape the fact, are we doing everything we can to take 3 points from Blackburn and others? Are we really throwing the kitchen sink at it? Look at some stats on that as well. They had 7 shots outside the box, Blackburn. We didn't have 1. 0 shots outside the box. There was some nice build-up play, link-up play. We'll talk about the new strikers as well. I thought there were some good signs there. But everything is just out, gone inside box. It's almost like we've got to do the perfect goal. we've got to be doing everything we can to score. And if I'd have been on last week at Plymouth, Matt, we're doing my head in, like, why not stick Helik up front against Plymouth the last 10 minutes or something like that? Don't show that you're doing everything you can to get these 3 points instead of just accepting that we haven't got the strikers or the individuals and that as well. That's my biggest criticism with, like, Darren Moore. It was so frustrating. I know you've kind of said about the sub there, but I didn't agree with Karoma coming off. I thought it was really good. He was absolutely gutted, you know, to come off on that as well. I know Steve Chicken, his 5 things, kind of said, yeah, you can kind of see why he did and that as well, but I just couldn't see it. And that's where kind of my credit in the bank's just kind of gone with more, because I'm just looking at this, I'm thinking, you know, I know some of it's really exaggerated with some of the fans. Yeah, negative setup. Look at some of the subs, you know, you can kind of see, even though you're thinking, yeah, bringing up a midfielder for a defender or whatever it is. But yeah, I you know, Kazuma, I mean, part of you wants to, like, I mean, I've got almost like glass house here. I've just criticised, like, for no shots out to the box. Kazuma backed himself, but he's not a creative midfielder, which is what we desperately need. And he's just like, he's had a pot and it's wide, and it's just like, these are massive moments in the season, and we're just not doing everything we can to win the game, in my opinion, off the bench. And it really did boil my blood. That probably not have happened in them 2 minutes, but it's just the intent, the message it's sending out to me, to everyone. Calm it down. We're playing a team who's lost 7 out of frigging 9, man. They're on their arse. We've just equalised. We should be getting at them, and we're just like, no, let's go in at half time. We're not bollocks.
I mean, it didn't get much better in the towards the end of the second half as well. We mentioned, didn't we, Josh, that, you know, there are a couple of throw-ins whereby they're saying calm it, you know, it's 91st minute, and they're sort of slowing it down, slowing the game down, and that's annoying levels of negativity. I know they always say, like, I know Dave, if you like, what, you know, he mentioned, didn't he? They always say a good point, an away point's always a good point, but it wasn't really. And normally you would say a point at Blackburn's good, but I think in context of where we are in the season, in context of where Blackburn are, it wasn't a good point. We had to go there, and considering we didn't beat Plymouth, I think if we'd have beaten Plymouth and got a point there, you'd be relatively happy. But I think in context of not beating Plymouth and then failing to beat Blackburn, it's not great, especially when the owner's giving you a 3-win. You know, we haven't won 3 games for ages, have we? But, you know, he's giving him that target to win 3 games in a row, and he's not really tried, I don't think, to win that massively. I don't think we've gone there to draw, but, you know, with time running out and the misses, you know, the game is there for us to win, and I don't think we really did enough after that to win it. It's just frustrating, isn't it? As a fan, just frustrating. And the chances, you know, Kasumu should do better. Boyan, it's a good save. But the running down of the clock at the end, I just found too frustrating, and I hate watching us at the minute. I just find us a really dull watch, and it's just not fun. It's not fun.
Mate, you've seen teams like, honestly, there's certain managers, sorry, Josh, but it's like today, Betis and Barcelona, it's Spanish. Betis came back from 2-0 to 2-2, and all they wanted to do was win it, and it cost them a defeat. But you know what? The fans clapped them off because they give everything. They wanted to win the game. I mentioned about Carlos Corberan, that the game a bit ago, wasn't it? West Brom, Leicester, was it? Where kind of West Brom, you know, were bombing. They got it back to a draw, trying to win the game, got caught out. Leicester got a late winner. You can always accept that as a fan, I think, because it's all about your intent. Are you trying to win the game? Are you doing everything you possibly can within your remit? And we know there's double-digit injuries or whatever and stuff like that as well. And we're not, and it's just so frustrating and that as well. It's like last week, Jonathan Ox staying on, you know, for 90 minutes. There's no need for that. It's just like, to me, that's just a manager who's just kind of accepting the situation and the injuries and stuff like that as well. And it's so frustrating. And I think this will come on to later on, the Kevin Nagle's comments, but it sounds like win that QPR or you're gone. So it'll be so frustrating if we see different stuff next week. All of a sudden, we're attacking midfield and we're getting more people forward. It's almost like, well, I better do something because I'm going out of a job. We should be doing this every game. And like these 2 games were like against Matt. The opposition was so bad, weren't they? I mean, like Blackburn, they offered nothing. Lee Nichols might have been sat with us second half. I can't remember him having a shot to save. So why not gamble? You know, even if we lost 2-1 point, whatever, you know, it's just like, go for it, mate. And it's just like, it's just so frustrating.
It's one of the big criticisms of Darren Moore, isn't it, from Chef Wednesday, from Huddersfield fans, Chef Wednesday, West Brom, is that he can't alter games from the touchline, and it's just it's frustrating watching it. It really is frustrating. But go on, Josh.
Devil's advocate here. Looking at the bench, subs that didn't come on. Diarra, been awful. Edwards, no, don't need to say anymore.
Yeah.
Wild.
I upended though, mate. I upended. We're picking him up in press conference last week, wasn't it? Oh, I upended.
Yeah, but he didn't really do much, did he? He's played one game, and you got Aina, defender, Hudlin, not good enough for the level. So, as much as I'm not pro Darren Moore, look at that bench. I wouldn't have brought any of them on. They didn't come on.
Josh,
I'd had Wiles on, to be honest. But
yeah, I would.
It's okay to disagree with that, but I would have had Wiles on over Kusumu.
Yes, but then a couple of games he kind of did. I thought he did.
Well, last time out, it was all right, actually.
Yeah, he was all right.
Over.
But how can he come on and say, I upended, like, I'll give him a chance. This is what I wanted to. He was like lauding himself, like, look, I've given him a chance against Plymouth. So build on that, mate. Get him on there. You know, fucking take Hog off. Just show us that you're trying to do something and that as well. And I think that's the so frustrating thing about it. Josh, how were you? You know, like a month ago, like the bench, this, that, and the other. And it's just like, it's so frustrating that, you know, there's like, there won't be anything different that's kind of done. I just think, I were with you with it, like the injuries, but I just can't get it. And Karoma, there's no way he should have been subbed off yesterday. No way in God's earth, mate. Rubbish.
Yeah, I think he just wanted to get Radulovic on, didn't he? But thoughts on the new players then. Reece Healey. I was speaking to a Watford fan before this, and he was saying he doesn't think Reece Healey's quite good enough for the Championship anymore. He's lost a lot of spark since he did his ACL. But he's not. My point is he's not really had the opportunity at Watford to show what he can do. I thought he made a difference, especially in the first half. I thought he was quite neat over there. I thought his link-up play was quite good. I thought he dropped into some good areas. I could see what he meant. There was a few through balls played to him where the defence outpaced him, so I kind of get where he's coming from. But I thought he made a difference. I thought Healey was all right. A solid performance. He spent a lot of time dropping outside of the box rather than being inside it for delivery and stuff, which I'm sure they'll work on. But I thought it was a promising enough debut, do you think? For to say he was signed pretty much the day before and he hasn't trained yet, I thought he did all right.
He did all right. I don't think it was his kind of game, really. Like, I don't think we see the best of him in that kind of game. And really, if Kusumu had scored, then he'd got the assist for that, wouldn't he? Because that was a nice bit of link-up play. Was that between him and Radulovic, and then he slid Kusumu in. That was probably our best move of the match. So he was involved in that. He's got a good work rate. And I'm sure he'll score goals for us.
I liked it, Cos. What do you?
Yeah, good. I liked his interview, mate, on the press conference on Friday. Seems hungry. I thought it was good that we give him, because I'm probably pretty certain Mo going to bring him off. I know we got no other strikers, but you know what he's like. He's like, who's giving him 70 and stuff. But I mean, he will blow in at the end. But it's like obviously his first real 90 minutes for a bit, and that's well. Yeah. It's been fascinating getting opinion from like Watford people and other people on this guy as well, because, like I say, it's if he hadn't had the injury and what have you. Huddersfield Town, these are kind of the players we'll get. There'll always be kind of question mark on these, because we're never going to get ready-made guys who are just going to bang in loads of goals and stuff as well. But I mean, based on 95 minutes, or I suppose if you clad that 7 minutes, 102 minutes of football, to me, it looks like a guy who will give you. He's just got to get the service. I know it's an obvious thing to say with the striker, but when we're on about Bojan in a minute, I think he brings a bit more to the party. But Healey, I just thought get him the service, get the crosses in, and he'll go there. But as well, but it was just nice, Matt, just to have a striker. Thank God, just on there. When you see that 44, mate, there's only one man it can mean, in it. So he's going to have to do well to kind of take the legend off our last 44. Yeah, but we're just we're good, and like I said, they were kind of well mastered with them. And when he went pace to pace with some of the Blackburn centre backs, but honestly, mate, he's like they say in horse racing, he's got to come on from the run, hasn't he? From that.
Yeah, no, I liked him. I liked what I saw. I think there's stuff to build on. I think it might just be a system thing as well with Watford, because they tended to. I think they played him out wide quite a bit, and they play 3 up top. So with us playing 2, it just allows him to be. Yeah. He feels very Billy Sharp in sort of in the way he plays. So maybe, playing someone up with him will allow him to just do what he does and float in and around the box and read situations and get a few goals.
The good thing is, Matt, though, it's like Koroma and Thomas now can feed these guys. It's great, isn't it? Where like 3 weeks ago, they've got they're doing the job themselves. So it's just nice. They must be thinking, brilliant. I can look up. They could think defenders think, am I going to shoot? Or I might be able to thread someone in now. So it's honestly just refreshing.
There's options, isn't there? It's Hayden Carter went off injured, didn't he? That was almost karma-like, wasn't it? Him going off injured for Blackburn after what he did to Delano Bergzorg in the home game.
Yeah.
Bergzorg, I'm not really that vindictive, but it was just funny how things work sometimes. But Bergzorg, hopefully, he keeps posting pictures of him training, and so you're hoping he'll be.
Yeah, I keep thinking that. Come on, mate. Come on, get out of the gym, get on the pitch.
And then all of a sudden,
you've got right for Carter that.
Exactly.
Yeah, but it'd be a great sub though, Matt. Wouldn't he, Bergzorg?
He'd be a good starter, wouldn't he? Be a good starter.
Yeah.
He adds so much when you've got the options there of Bergzorg, Healey, Radulovic, and Koroma, I guess, as your striking options. It's actually decent. Yeah, it's good. I mean, I've really liked what I've seen. The sort of cameos, the 2 cameos for Radulovic, I've really liked what I've seen. Yeah. I really like what I see there. I mean, he's not fit yet. He's not played competitively for not properly in league football since by the end of October. He's played a few European games, but I really like what I see. I mean, he is a beanpole striker. He's not fast, but he just drops into really good areas. He links things. His foot speed isn't his lightning, but his movement's really good. That sort of Sheringham-esque, dropping into places and then linking things, and his footwork's really good. There's against Man City, he beat the defender to get the shot off, which the keeper saved, and then again to get the shot which Pears saved. He nutmegs the centre back. He showed really good feet, and I really like what I see with Radulovic, and I really want to see more. And I like the idea of him and Healey up front, and I think there's something there to build on as a partnership. And you can throw on a Bergzorg, a Koroma, or you can even Bergzorg with Radulovic, and it's interesting. There's all sorts of different dynamics, and I'm sure Darren Moore's quite excited. But I like what I see, boys, of Radulovic. I think this could touch wood, because I know he got injured in his first proper week, but I really like what I see there, and I'm hoping that's going to be a big signing for us. He looks like he's got quite a lot of tools which fit.
It's nice to have someone who's finally happy playing with the back to goal and can hold the ball up. Far too often, one of our biggest weaknesses is the ball to come straight back when it comes up to our strikers. And yeah, like you said, I like the idea of him and Healey as a combination. The classic sort of hold-up player, and then Healey's going to be the sort of finisher. So that's got the makings of good partnership. And then
Fox in the box.
And then obviously Bergzorg, who before he was horrifically hacked down by...
he was playing well, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was really finding his best form, and hopefully comes back soon, because we need him.
Yeah, Radulovic were great, mate. We're giving up fans like some G up, from a corner and stuff. So he just feels like it's going to be
a talisman there, isn't it? I feel like he's going to be,
fans love a good, kind of number 9, don't we? And
love a big centre forward. I mean, Alan Lee still got cult hero status, hasn't he? And he wasn't particularly that great, but
I think the best thing for me, Matt, is it's like it's not just a guy who kind of stands there and just wants the ball to come to him. There's a lot more to his game, and I like the fact he's willing to try stuff, mate. It's like trying to jink, or like the City chance as well. That was a good chance. He's like something created for himself. So in other words, when he gets the ball in the box, mate, it's not. I think sometimes you can be predictable to kind of to the defenders know what they're going to do. But I'm thinking, if I'm marking this guy, I'm not sure what he's going to do here and stuff as well. And obviously we've not seen much of his aerial prowess, which as part of that montage when he signed it. It looked like he'd scored some nice goals. With
the first thing he did was win a flick on when he came on. The first thing he did was win a flick on down the line, wasn't it? That was, and that was like, well, that's different, because we don't usually win those. So
but again, it's just that boost, Matt. Just seeing another striker on the team sheet. It's just it's just small steps, but it is just so good. And I like his energy. I like the fact he seems to care, he throws stuff about him. I don't know, interviews are everything, but I loved his interview when he signed. He's really good, but. I think the problem, it's not a problem, but if this were like signing in July, August, you're thinking, bed him. Hey, you've got to deliver straight away. Sorry, Bojan, but as much as we love you, mate, we need that winner at QPR next Sunday.
Yeah,
hopefully
changes the narrative though, doesn't it? Having signed these 2 strikers, everyone was saying sign a striker, sign a striker. Well, we've got them now, so obviously the problem's something else.
I thought what was brilliant was we signed Healey, and it's like people are going, Kevin, spend money, buy a striker, and then it came out in it Reece Healey 2 million. It's like not that much money, Kevin. It was that was quite funny. It's not 2 million quid, by the way, but it's
mad, isn't it, how we've changed, man. Can you imagine if we'd put this pod back on in 2017 when we'd got Diacabi and Benzer and all that, and we were spending like 10 million, 12 million.
I could dig out that you singing the Diacabi song if you want, Kosi.
And like we mustered these 4 guys in for 5 million. Obviously, we'll come on to the kind of the business done, but he's just refreshing, mate. And I just think at his attack, he's just totally different because, like Thomas now, he's like defenders are going to think, oh shit, what's he going to do? Like before this thing, he's got to go for goal. There's no one else to pass to. Now it's like, shit, what's he going to do? He's going to beat a man and whatever. He got a great reception from the Blackburn. They were a bit weird, mate. He got the ball. There were a few pantomime jeers, and then all of a sudden he went over to the corner, which actually gave the goal. And when he went back a second, it were like clapping. And I noticed he put someone on his Instagram about being buzzing on that as well. And it's all of a sudden, like you said, when you read them names out, Matt, it's not. I'm not saying it's like going to be, compared to Leeds and Southampton, what have you, they're going to be managers quaking in the boots. But mate, there's finally, it is, and obviously get Del Boy back on the bench, and maybe 1 or 2 others as well. It's it's.
I mean, with these options, because I'm sure that keeping Bergzorg on for 90 minutes against Blackburn, see that injury came after about 25 minutes, and he still played for another over an hour there, and it's like, if you've got these options on the bench, you can hook him straight away, and all of a sudden the injury, he's not out for a couple of months, he's out for a couple of weeks. But I mean, needs must, and he won us that game against Blackburn, so you can't really fault that too much. But
the one thing is on that, go on, sorry, mate. Thoughts on?
I was going to say thoughts on Brody Spencer as well. He continues to impress. I mean, I was really keen to see how he did in that slot. I was speaking to Stephen Chicken and Dave about potentially playing him as a right-sided centre-back, and you can have that sort of wraparound system where, do you remember when we had Adam Hamill under Mark Robbins, and Adam Hamill pushed higher up, and then Tommy Smith sort of wrapped around as a defensive right-back covering in, and you've got players in Brody Spencer and Ollie Turton who can do that covering job really, really well, and that's sort of their specific. But Brody Spencer got forward as well. He overlapped from right centre-back, and he got a number of interceptions, tackles in, and won a couple of headers. I was really impressed with what I saw from him. I think the move to Motherwell has been an absolute godsend for him, and I think that's now 3 performances in a row where he's up there as a contender for man of the match. I mean, he got man of the match against Plymouth, didn't he? And I'm not sure we got it against Man City, but you got to be looking at Spencer, and again yesterday he was up there again, and 19 years old. There's shades to me of Lee Peltier in him in a way, and in terms of his pace, how he gets forward, how flexible he is, and how he's sort of built as well. And he's very. I like him. I like him a lot, and I think hopefully he keeps going. There's a danger of building young players up too much, isn't there? Too soon, but I really like what I've seen so far, and I'm really, really happy for him that he's performing really well, and all of a sudden we've gone from saying, oh, we really need a right back to Brody Spencer's really good, isn't he?
Yeah. Well, Matt, it's funny. I was behind the same goal, well, not 12 months ago. I think we played him in November last time, but Spencer, I'm sure it was Spencer's debut against Blackburn, and he cost us for the goal. When he played, actually, it wasn't his debut. I think he played a couple of games more, but you were like, you just thought it's a bit of an experience, but you could see something there. And then I'm thinking about, I think Fotheringham kind of pulled him out then, and then, obviously he didn't play and stuff. But yeah, you can just see what regular football's done to him, Matt. And just, I know I'm much maligned about Scottish Premier League football, but, obviously when you're bumping into Rangers and Celtic now and again in like high pressure octane games and stuff like that as well, you've got to deliver. So, mate, he's added to it. Sometimes we get these players back and they do all right, and we're really desperate to give them benefit of the doubt, but these are performances on merit, mate. And you could see even that Manchester City game, mate, against such, different gravy opposition, that there was something there, but really, really good. And it's given Danamore a bit of a nice option, really, because obviously we've got the centre back in, this week, but Spencer's a guy, even if you can go on the bench, it's someone you can bring on and change stuff. It's just a positive, mate. And again, it's not all people that go out on loan. We seem to have serial loan players, don't we, that come back and we never see again. But this looks like a guy now who's just going to kick on to me. And 3 solid performances later, it looks good, mate.
I like the way he plays as well. He's robust.
Front foot.
He likes to tackle. Sometimes he dives in a little bit too much, but he just like that Man City when he got clattered, he got straight back up. He's a bit like old-fashioned in that sense. And also when he gets the ball, sometimes he'll be proactive and he'll try 1-2 down the right. Obviously he's used to playing right back, so when he gets in that position, he's got a bit going forward as well. So yeah, looking really positive for Brody Spencer.
So overall, it's I think we're saying disappointing draw, aren't we? Against Blackburn.
When the whistle went, Matt, I always think it's one of those crowds is always interesting, but there were a muffled boos as if to say, bloody hell, we needed to win that, but there were mostly applause. So I think again, Town fans, we get a bad press, don't we?
The performance wasn't bad, was it? I think that's the thing. The performance wasn't bad, and we should have won the game, but we could have done more. It just felt like we could have done more. To be honest, it's just.
Don't forget that chance Blackburn had at the end when Nichols palmed it onto their guy. That could easily have gone in, and then.
Hit.
Don't bring that into it, Josh. We should have won easy.
Yeah, that hit Smodits on the knee, didn't it? And that could have gone anywhere. Yeah, it could have gone anywhere. That it's quite fortunate. But there's other news as well. We've signed a centre back. You can listen to. Not sure what's going on there, Josh, with the balloons, but
that's because you've got a centre back in. It's because we've got a centre back in, isn't it? Buzzing.
Celebrated out with the signing of Radinho Balker with balloons. I don't know what you've done there, Josh. But if you're listening, you can watch Josh and his balloons on YouTube.
I'm just happy.
We signed Radinho Balker from Groningen. And this is a very interesting signing on a lot of levels. You can listen to Brady and Tom's mini pod about Radinho Balker. There's opinion from a Groningen podcast, which is interesting.
Was it in Dutch?
Yep. And it's very typical that we sign someone and they can't play.
Norovirus.
Yeah, he gets norovirus and he's got the shits, shall we say, rather than an injury. So the good thing is, it's not an injury and he should hopefully be in and around for QPR. But there's a decision to make here as well because Town.
I was going to say what they're going to do.
They signed him for 1.3 million euros. That's an outlay. And again, well played. Kevin Nagle's coming and he's put his money where his mouth is. And I think a lot of people are really appreciative of that, including us, that, he's backed, Mark Cartwright and co. And we've managed to bring in players like Balker. And you've got Spencer in good form. I mean, Lees and Helik are doing okay. Helik's the man, isn't he, for us? And Tom Lees, I think, has been pretty good, to be honest, since Christmas.
I think the big thing is, Matt, though, with the evolve.
What do you do?
It sounds like we're trying to evolve a style a little bit. I noticed a little bit yesterday, but every time you kind of saw any of this, I mean, yeah, there were some sliding tackles that against the juices flowing that the club put on that video. But the key thing that I'm hearing, and really weird, when I were on the Thursday night Just Joe podcast, which you've got to tune in, man. I'm flying the Town flag there with other
chest cast.
Pro Rotherham guy, honestly, he's absolutely just when you think Town are doing bad, you just like it goes over to Rotherham. But it was really weird. Someone kind of messaged in says, "I'll tell Kosi, I don't know." He said, "I've done some scouting or something." He sounded like a proper scout, but he said, "You've got a gem in there, this guy." And he says, "Geez, he's brilliant on the ball." That's what his main point was, and I think he's kind of been signed to bring the ball. But I don't really because you think defenders defend, but this is a guy who's going to bring the ball forward and get us moving quickly, which. How many times, we've been saying about slow start, passing slow and what have you. So he said it himself, didn't he, on his interview? He seemed a really confident guy and, kind of exciting. I think kind of the message we had from a kind of one or two people that know him a bit more, we might see the odd clanger, but you're going to see that from a defender anyway. But this is a guy who's fast on the ball and, we can...
Runs past people with dribbles with the ball.
Yeah, did you see that run? I was like, bloody hell, it was mad,
it's interesting. Yeah. It's going to be interesting, is this? And I mean, where do you put him in? I mean, Helik doesn't get dropped. I mean, Balker's probably going to end up playing left side. I mean, Nakayama.
Just up Brody Spencer there, haven't we? And we might
I'd keep Spencer in over Lees if you're playing a back three. I think that's been one of our frailties, is that the right centre back and left centre back get the ball in that system probably more than any other player. And we're playing with Lees and Pearson. Neither of them can pass a ball. So I'm glad that we've signed someone that can. For me, Lees, if you're playing a back three, he's got to be the middle one, but you don't drop Helik. So for me, Yeah, I drop Lees and keep Spencer in.
Matt, do you think that we should look at the opposition? I mean, and then tailor it to that, or do you think it's important to get a partnership going, with whatever? Or do you just think we should be? I don't know, Southampton, for example. Are we going to kind of play, a different?
Darren Moore does. Darren Moore's a systems guy.
Yeah.
I mean, if we don't beat QPR, he might not be here. But he's a systems guy. He's going to play a back three, and Balker's right-footed, so I'm not sure. But a lot of the highlights showed him playing from the left side. So it could be Balker, Helik, and Nakayama, because I don't think Japan are doing too great, are they, in the Asian Cup? So he might be back sooner rather than later. But that's actually an interesting back three, isn't it? I mean, you might lose a bit in the box, defending it without Tom Lees. I think that's the only sort of concern you'd have there. Is Tom Lees is great at the blocking, the dirt, the ugly side of the game, if you like, and you do need that. But Helik's good at that too. So it'd be interesting to see if Balker's any good at that, because I think the guy from the Groningen podcast said sometimes it can be a bit ropey from set pieces and crosses into the box. So if that's the case, then you're going to want someone like Helik and Lees to sort of cover for him. But there's a lot of interesting opportunity. Again, it's like the forwards, isn't it? You can throw in Nakayama, you can throw in Spencer, you can throw in Helik and Lees and Pearson when he's back, and all of a sudden you've got options again, and you've got a happier manager with you can tailor that. But I think it's always going to be a back three, to answer your question, Kosi, under Darren Moore. But who the back three is, I'm not sure. I mean, if you talk about silk and feathers, Daisy Dolly, the different things you call centre backs. You usually have a stopper and a ball player, don't you? So it might be they have a ball player and two stoppers. I don't know. We'll have to see. But
we just need a creative midfielder. Yeah,
it's going to be interesting. I mean, you can move Brody Spencer to right wing back, can't you, and play with a front three. There's all sorts you can do, and Sorba Thomas can play as part of a front three, or I've got a bad feeling that he might play Sorba Thomas behind the front two, which I don't think will suit. He's tried that before, and I don't really like that, but he might try that again and Spencer at right wing back for solidity. So we could do with someone on the left. I mean, Headley and Jackson, I think they're all right, but I don't think they create enough, do they, from that flank? And Nakayama's not.
Headley's levels above Jackson. I don't think you can tie them two in together. I think Headley's, look at his, his go forward. He's offering much more than Jackson for me.
I don't know. I mean, Jackson's delivery is a bit better than Headley's. Headley's not a great crosser of the ball, is he?
His business is not done, is it? His business is not done clear from last night. Well, to me, there's someone else coming in, but
I mean,
a creative midfield. I'm sick of going on about him, Matt. But
mate. Honestly, we've had Carol Eiting since we sold Aaron Moy in 2019. We've had Eiting, and that's it, really, haven't we? Who can pass a ball in midfield? I mean, John Russell had his moments, but it was never.
Yeah, but now we've got guys with movement, mate, up front. It'd make all the difference. And then you can imagine some if you were really attacking, which Moore never does. But you have Karim on one side, Thomas, mate. It could be good. We could be good to watch, but he's up to. Yeah, I'm not sure.
It's a lot to do in January. I mean, Kevin Nagle's having to throw a lot of money in because we've not put money in the last few years. So it's a lot of catch up, and they've done well to catch up so far. But we might be being a bit greedy. We might be getting a bit. It's flashback to the league like here, isn't it? Where you've 40 odd signings in 3 years. There's
obviously a lot of question marks with a lot of these guys we've brought in, but I did feel driving home thinking now we've got the players to stay up. I mean, obviously injuries permitting and guys back and stuff, but I feel it's almost like there's no excuses now. Where obviously I've always defended more with the guys that are not in and stuff and that as well. I mean, we don't even mention Matos, which he's a bit of a. I'm still struggling to know what his best position is, to be honest, Matt. And that run he had down the wing yesterday were like brilliant stuff. I know the guy did his hamstring, made it look a bit more artificial, but then I hopefully that wasn't an injury, but that he never came. He kind of had a couple of minutes and then went off, but kind of went off and just got the cross in. Not picking Matos. When he just got that cross in, stood on the byline when he went flying down. But he's an interesting player in there. He gets stuck in, but I don't feel like the most creative guy, which I'm thinking. I thought that's what we were going to get, but maybe he's still to evolve, and it's early days for him. But
I'm not quite sure what Matos is yet.
In his interview, he said his best position is in front of the back four. That's what he said in his club interview, first interview. But obviously, Hogg's you're not going to drop Hogg, are you? So we've got a few players there: Hogg, Matos, Kasumu. They're all not the most attacking. So I think we could do with another attacking midfielder.
Potentially. potentially. Let's move things on. So Kevin's video diaries. I think these have been really refreshing through January. There's a lot of transparency with Carmichael, Dave, and I've really enjoyed it when they were both over and they were both in the room and doing bits and pieces and saying what they'd done. I found it great, and you've got an owner who's wanting to engage with the fan base, wanting to listen, wanting to learn, and I find it great. I just think the last one. So we'll talk about a couple of bullet points. He says there's potentially more deals to do, which we potentially need. Says the players were sloppy, but we outplayed Blackburn. He said he was frustrated, and one thing he said, he'd spoken to other managers who said that we're too conservative. I mean, I'm not sure who they are, whether he means Peter Jackson, maybe in the White Rose Club, and we're too conservative, which I understand. And then he kind of intimated, didn't he, that if we don't beat QPR on is it Sunday, isn't it? We're on Sky, aren't we?
Yeah.
The balloons are back, Josh. If we don't beat QPR, then he might have a decision to make. And I mean, I appreciate the honesty, but it kind of undermines the manager a little bit, doesn't it? Having been that honest. I feel like a lot of what he's done in this January has been brilliant, and I've really enjoyed his flying visit. I just didn't like that one question. I just found that a bit, I don't know, a bit too on the nose, if you like, in public. I think it's great to know he's been doing at the stadium. They're trying to get more players, etc. I don't really want my owner to sort of say or sort of intimate if we don't win the next game, he's going to be sacked. That didn't really sit particularly well with me. I mean, he can say what he wants. It's his social media, his Twitter, etc. But that just left me feeling like, I'm not sure that should have perhaps come out, that one. I don't know how you guys felt about it, but everything else I think has been absolutely great. It was just that one moment where I was like, I didn't quite like that.
I agree. I've loved listening to it, and I think it's all great. And his visit over has been, I have to say, very successful so far. But to talk about the current manager like that when it's not like a proper interview, sort of like with Radio Leeds or something like that. It's his mate asking him, "Do you think the manager's under pressure?" I just don't think it's very helpful, and that's the only thing he's done wrong, really. So I suppose just let him off. Yeah. But we don't want it to become a circus, and I think he just needs to maybe keep some comments for private in future.
Yeah, I mean, Kosi, you can jump in at this point.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I'm a fan of dogs. Like I ring Radio Leeds like 30 minutes after a game, but when you listen to mine, they always put it back on Sunday now, don't they? Football forum or whatever. And you listen to it and you think, bloody hell, mate, take a breath. But that's emotion, mate. That's emotion from the game. The ultimate disappointment that come in there, you're getting peed on with the rain, walking back to your car. You're going to get that emotion. And I just think 2 hours after a game, these two guys coming on and saying that, it's just a bit ill advised to me. And yeah, like you said, Matt, it's his train set and he can do what he wants and that. So he just looked a bit Tim Pop to me, mate. He's like a guy in a garage in the other side of the world. I mean, it's almost like what we do a little bit, just like chatting away. But I'm thinking, well, hang on a minute. This is like the CEO and friends talking about our manager. And I'm just thinking, who knows what will happen at QPR next week? They might beat us. We might go bottom three. And then all of a sudden there's a decision to make and say he goes. I'm just wondering if there's a Paul Eckenbottom or whoever just watching that thinking, bloody hell. Do I really want to get involved with this guy who's come on and trying to turn it into maybe like a Wrexham kind of scenario? But honestly, I love Kevin Nagle. I love his heart's in the right place. And up until about 4 minutes of that video, I thought, all right, but I just thought they were a bit odd, Matt, about other managers. What? You can't say that, can you? I just think there's got to be it's up to him. And there's a lot of people who get in there, Kev. I totally agree. But I just thought it a bit unprofessional for me, mate. With that.
Yeah, I mean, some people love it. That's fine.
Yeah.
Some
it's
people
championship
don't.
football, mate. It's championship football. It's not. No offense, not like a League Two or what have you, non-league. This is like big businesses and that as well. But ultimately, mate, he's paying the wages. He's put his money in. He can do what he wants. But he just looked a bit poor, really, and it just heaps loads of pressure on Darren Moore. I think he does know that. I think he knows what he has to do. But again, it's next week, mate. I think did he really need him to say that to know next week's kind of do or die? But part of you thinks, well, hang on a minute, what does one result more mean? He's either your man or you're not. I mean, in Radio Leeds of the week, he's my man and blah, blah, blah. And now it feels like he's got to win next week. We've got to win next week. It's like, when he was saying that we've got to win, we know that. But the one thing I don't like as well, Matt, is like I think we all do it naturally, just as like podcast. We need this from the next 4 games. You know, Steve Chicken and Dave's always like, for the next 4 games, we need this, we need that. We keep putting ourselves under pressure with points. I think we just knew we had to do better against Plymouth and Blackburn than we did. But I don't like we need this from the next 4 games and this and that from the next 4 games. You can't say that. I just think we're putting ourselves under unnecessary pressure. Certainly that interview last night.
I mean, 3 wins in 22 games puts him under pressure, doesn't it?
And Matt, don't you think some of the players might look at this thinking, this is shit, you know, this is a bit embarrassing. They might, I'm not saying they're down tools, but I'm just thinking, what must they be thinking that as well? I mean, we've got some good senior pros, but sounds like obviously a bit of criticism there of what was said. But I love, obviously, the video diaries have been really good. There's obviously been a lot of light-hearted stuff, some serious stuff as well. But I'm just questioning, like a bit like obviously you discussed the tweet last week at 4:58 or whatever, not good enough, and then obviously the backtracking 2 hours later. I'm just thinking 2 hours after a game, the same night after a game. It's up to him, but I don't see anyone else doing it, and I think that's for a reason. That I think you've just got your emotion and.
I mean, language matters. The way you construct it. I mean, if Kevin Nagle had said in the tweet, you know, oh, we could have done better today. You know, you just kind of sugarcoat things a little bit. But I quite like how direct he is. You know, it's
but the manager, Darren Moore's not in a position where he can say to him, "I don't like you saying that," because he knows he's close to going anyway. So I think
Neil Warnock said that to him, and they were out, Josh. And I think that's
exactly,
don't you just think he's saying that because he knows he can get away with it, and that as well.
Yeah.
As he selected the manager because he's an easy guy who's not going to rock the boat, because there's not many other managers that have put up with that. You know, mate. There've been people doing interviews with Radio Leeds. I'm not a bit. You know,
I think Darren Moore and Neil Warnock are quite 2 extreme examples of dealing with a chairman. So Darren Moore, especially in the position he's in, he's never going to say anything. Whereas Neil Warnock is complete other side. If you upset him, he's gone. So I think the next manager will probably be somewhere in between. And hopefully they'll be able to have a relationship where he can say to Kevin Nagle, look, I don't like you saying that. I don't like you tweeting that. And they can work it out amicably. But yeah, my thoughts is if you're deciding that it's on one game, if you're going to sack him or not, I think you've already made the decision, haven't you, really? So you may as well just do it now, because what's one game going to make? If you're putting the thought in your head that you're going to sack him if this result doesn't happen, you may as well just do it now.
Josh, I said on the radio last night, and I'll stand by it. Like this, it might sound contradictory, but I'm not sure if they should sack Darren Moore or not. But I am in the position now that Huddersfield Town have got a better chance of staying in the division with someone else from what I've seen. And obviously that's to agree or disagree with. But I will let you know the injury record. You know, well, no, hang on a minute, we're bringing players in, and you know, the last 2 games have done so much damage in my head for him, because the Plymouth game, we just let that go like that when they were just like sat back. I know he almost seemed haunted with that low block. He went on about it again in his press conference. It's like, okay, Darren, we knew. You know, it was almost like, oh, they put a low block and it's not easy to play against because we've shown on that as well. But it's like, it's almost like just excuses. I'm thinking if you did everything you can, mate, to try and win that game, like I said, maybe put Helik in or do something creative or something totally off the cuff, then I can kind of hear you. But I couldn't. And again, did we really chuck the kitchen sink at them yesterday? Not really. So kind of, but I'm at the point now where I just think we have the players, you know, maybe a creative midfield or whatever, but I just can't get out of my head that I think I could be totally wrong, but it's so eerie echoes of last year. Do you remember when we lost to Preston in the Cup under Fotheringham? And then we had them big 4 games, didn't we? I can't remember the other 2. There must have been one at home, but obviously we've been to Wigan and Blackpool and Wigan, wasn't there? Yeah, he went out after Blackpool, but the Wigan one was a disaster, wasn't it? We were shocking, but there were another 2, but it's almost like history repeating, really, and that as well. And but after what's been said now, Josh, part of me thinks that we might have gone to QPR next Sunday and just like, let's try and keep the gap between us, whatever, and yeah, let's be happy with it. We still might, but that to me, it's almost like win or you're out. And I expect to see stuff that we've probably not seen from Moore all season next Sunday. And yeah, we hope we win, but it's going to make us all think, well, hang on a minute, mate. Are you only doing this because you know the chance of my life? Do you think we'll just do it down the sword, mate?
I'll be honest, mate, I don't think we will, and I think we might have a new manager by Monday. It's just the way.
Wow.
Well, if they are, they need to decide who they want before they sack him, because we can't waste any more time. We can't have caretakers for more than
more time.
But yeah,
I don't know. I hope we win. I hope we win, and I hope we beat Sheffield Wednesday. because I'm fed up of churning managers all the time. I just want us to start building, but I mean, he's got to win games. It's 3-22. It's worse than fothering him. You know what I mean? And it's just not happening, is it, for him? Unfortunately. I mean, we've got
last season.
It's just not
when
happening.
we had winnable games. Well, the most winnable games were under Fotheringham and Narcissus. And then by the time Warnock comes in, all right, he turned it around in the end, but he had quite a tough run. And you're just wishing that the easier games were later under a new manager. But yeah,
it's funny. You when they do that Thursday pod, Matt, all you hear is like, we should be down, but Huddersfield just give everyone else a chance to get out of it. Like the Sheffield Wednesday and Rotherham guys, obviously Rotherham look a bit doomed, but this is the frustrating thing and that gap all of a sudden above us has gone a little bit again, and that's well, you know. I know Birmingham beat one at Stoke, didn't they? Mowbray. He'll get them. They'll be all right, won't they?
Yeah, 5 points to Birmingham now and 3 points to QPR. We're in an island now. We're on a bit of an island where we're eroding slightly towards the bottom three. But you know, a couple of wins and you're looking up again. So let's cross our fingers. Let's move on. We've been going an hour. Towns Academy. Kosi, the Forest game. Christ,
the Forest fans were back on our Twitter. It's been a while, guys, hasn't it? They were Stephen. They were funny actually, banter, to be fair, when he was saying John Moss's fault and all this, but they couldn't wait to get stuck in. But yeah, the only one thing that I thought, Matt, David Weatherall, obviously, I know Rome wasn't built in a day, and he were bringing to overlook and have a look behind the scenes and try and get it going. But and I know that half of our players were probably in our bench on Saturday, so Forest, the Premier League, and blah blah blah. And I didn't see the game, but it's just like. There's never really been any an interview after or whether all right, David, you've been here 4 months or whatever. What are you thinking? This, that, and the other. And it's just I know they had a man sent off.
He's advising. I don't know what his official position is, but I think he's more of an advisor at the minute, isn't he? John Worthington's the academy manager, and you can listen to Raj has done a really decent little interview about Tom Yapenda, and I'm only sort of halfway through it, but there's little bits with Lee Mellor and John Worthington, and it's quite interesting. I mean, Kevin Russell's come in, hasn't he? Baptism of fire there, isn't it? For Kevin Russell.
I remember him.
Yeah, he was all right, actually.
Yeah, he was good.
Yeah, I mean, I listened to the interview with him, and he said that the B team is very light. Yeah, he said the B team's very light on numbers, which I think the game against Forest, which they lost 8-0, I think there was a lot of under 19s in the team, wasn't there? Having to play up, but I think that's it. It's, it's in terms of players, it's a top-down approach, isn't it? Town have to desperately improve the first team to stay in the championship, but I would imagine that the B team and the academy will start to filter through at some stage as well, and we'll start to improve players there. I mean, we're putting people in position. Kevin Russell's in, Worthington's moved up, hasn't he? David Weatherall's still at the club, I think, at the minute. So they're expanding, and they're going to have to expand even more, aren't they? With bringing back the
Ollie Turton played 45, didn't he? That was probably the best bit of the news.
Yeah, he did. He did.
Where would he play now? Like we were just discussing now, do we get Balker in? It's like,
He'd be a
but
right
I suppose more headaches. Yeah, it's honestly,
I mean,
Matt, what a huge weekend it is for the club. This, and obviously Brady will do his preview on his podcast, but it's hard to recall such a. I know we seem to have had these like massive games. So and so haven't won for ages, or out of form, this and that. But it's live on Sky. The eyes of the nation's going to be on us, even though there's FA Cup.
Not that many.
Nah, there won't be. But Sky are going to big it up, haven't they? Because it's like they're not showing any FA Cup, so they're going to be saying like they're going to be nicking all this Kevin Nagle soundbites. They're going to be piling it on Darren. If you don't, you know what he does. He answers it like he does, but it's hard to recall a game with so much riding on it, Matt, for some time, and we're not even at end of Jan. But for me, this time next week, it's like
I do in credit to Darren Moore. I do quite like how cool Darren Moore is about it all. How he doesn't seem to, he should be under pressure and almost shaking with it, but he sort of like calmly palms it off, and I'm hoping that sort of rubs off on the players a little bit, and they're going quite relaxed into, obviously motivated and aggressive, but relaxed into the game rather than nervous, because we say things come from the dugout, and he seems quite relaxed. So hopefully it's a huge game. I mean, Elias Chair scored. I've absolutely no idea where he's playing football at the minute if you Google him at the moment. but there's a lot riding on it for sure. Last bits of business. Outgoings. There's 2 outgoings. Josh Osterfield has joined Crew in League 2, so good luck to Josh. We'll see how he gets on. And we've farewell after 55 appearances and 2 goals to the Reg Easter, as Neil Warnock converted
8 years
into.
He's been here, hasn't he? 8 years.
Yeah, Franz Peckenbauer himself, Romani Edmonds Green. I mean, he came, I think, from the Nike. I think it was the Nike Academy that he signed from when he was sort of 16, 17. He captained some of the academy teams. They thought a lot about him for quite a while at the club, but I think fitness issues never really. He never really kicked on. I think he seems to be one of those players who, when he's not overly active, seems to put weight on a little bit. And I remember him getting, was it against Wigan or someone? He got cramp, didn't he? Carlos Corberán sent him out on loan, didn't he, after he got cramp after about half an hour against somebody, which shows a bit of a dodgy fitness. But
I think the thing is, Matt, he'll probably look back and think, he were outstanding at Rotherham. He probably should have gone there permanently. For whatever reason, I don't know why the deal didn't happen and that as well. And since he's come back, it's just not. We've had a few managers and he's just never happened really, and that as well. I'm just glad he's a Southern boy. He's got obviously a good club Charlton, as we know, and that as well. They're kind of mid-table as well, but it were nice to see some of their social media and that as well, like making him feel solid. He'd have had no chance of getting a game. God, we were trying to kind of solve this conundrum there, so he wouldn't have had any chance. But it's
the right move to move him on at this stage. He's 25, and he not to be too critical, but he still plays like he did when he first came into the team, doesn't he? But, so I think that's always been my thing with Romani. But wish him all the best. He's made over 50 appearances, and he contributed last season to us staying up, didn't he, with that move into number 6. So favourite Romani Edmonds Green moment always, Kosi, has to be that Luton playoff game where he ran on the pitch in his ropey tracksuit, wearing some kind of, I don't know what's that make that they all wear, Balenciaga. I can't remember what it's called, Balenciaga. Yeah, he ran on in one of those tracksuits, didn't he? And his trainers, and with all the fans, and then all the fans ran on, and then the players were running off the pitch. And I remember Romani Edmonds Green getting blocked from running off the pitch. The stewards wouldn't let him off the pitch because they thought it was just some scrote from Dalton that had run on the pitch. So he was trapped in all the fans, and he was visibly stressed, trying to get off, going, I'm a player. But he's yeah. Good luck to Romani Edmonds Green. I don't think anyone would wish him ill. Good lad, and all the best. And I think that's all I've got time for this week, unless, Kosi, you always like to throw a grenade in at the last second, but no.
Zero grenades, mate. Just hopefully, windows won't go through. This weather's horrendous, isn't it? Jesus.
Oh, no. Anyway, hopefully a couple of grenades next week, and who knows, maybe more signings next week. You never know, do you? You never know. I won't count on it, but you never know. There's around 10 days left from today, so maybe we could sneak one in through the back door. But thanks for listening, everybody. Thanks to Magic Rock. Tune in midweek for the Bradle Juices preview, and we'll be back again next week.
There's a team that is dear to its followers. The colours are bright blue and white. They're a team of renown, and they're the pride of the town, and the game of football is their delight. And all the while upon the field of play, thousands loudly cheer them on the way. Often you can hear them say, who can beat the town today? And then the bells will ring so merrily, and every goal shall be a memory. So town, play up and bring that cup back to Huddersfield. So town, play up and bring the cup back to Hildred.